Hi, I'm MeyJey. Upon request from my May Angels and curious people around the world, I have been asked if I can speak on my experience going to school in Jamaica. Now, I will do this speaking American English. I know that there is some confusion to how I'm actually speaking, which is weird to me considering, you know, um, people know how to speak different languages and accents. It's not really that crazy, but I digress. I will be doing it in English, so I want everyone to understand. Because if me sit down and just chat rap at one, everybody are gonna stand it. I don't want nobody feel left out. I don't want nobody come question me and come say, can you please translate it? No. I go to this, this a video, yeah. While I'm painting on this jacket, I will show you the jacket in between. So, my experience, uh, first of all, a lot of people ask me how do you end up in Jamaica? And to that I say, how do you end up anywhere? You move. Now, obviously, I understand it's kind of like, but you're born in Norway. Why did you choose Jamaica? Um, what was what was the reason? And honestly, it was my mom. She was the reason. Now, when I speak on these things, I want it to be known that I'm speaking from my perspective and my memory and my perspective alone. I'm not speaking for anyone else. I'm speaking from what I know, what I remember, and how I remember it. That's it. That's all. So, firstly, um, I don't remember the first time I went to Jamaica because I was a child. And let's just say that trauma does something to your memory, and my ADHD isn't really helping. So there's that. But I don't remember the first time I went, but I think we went once or twice. I don't know, once. Let's just say once. Before we made the move. And once we did, we were there for a couple of years, and then we've been back and forth the last 20 because I started 7th grade there, but I had been there before. So, at least that's how I remember it. Mom, come and correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know even if I don't even know if she remembers to be but to me it's like that's my home. I haven't been in a couple of years because I have prioritized work, trying to fix my life and create a business from scratch while simultaneously healing from life. So, God willing, that this year I will. So, pray with me. And if I don't make it, I think my best friend is going to behead me. I think high school, yes, let me also say school in Norway and school in Jamaica, the system is very different. So, 7th grade in Norway is very different than attending high school in Jamaica. I will also say that in Norway, we don't have uniforms. This was very new to me. And my mom said that there's no way I'm sending you to a private school. You are going to a public school. Later, she has joked that actually high school was the only school that would let me in. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. But that's what she said. And I think, regardless of what country or what who you are, I think high school is just such a complicated time for everyone. And it's just not a cute vibe. Like high school is a little crazy. Let's be so for real about that. But my first day of school was terrifying, to be honest. Now, Anchovy High School is in the middle of the hills, um, going towards Anchovy, Belmont. You got, well, if you go up the hill, the long hill, and you turn to the right, you go reach Belmont. But if you keep on going, you go reach Anchovy. And on the left side, you skirt in there, you find Anchovy High School. But my first day, I was wearing this yellow blouse, this brown dress. I think was the evening shift in the first. No, yes, I went to the evening shift in 7th grade, morning shift 8th grade. Yes, I think so. So evening shift is like from 12 to 5, and morning shift is from like 7 to 12. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, from 7 to 12. So, and you for one stripe on your dress, it is morning shift. On 2 stripes, it was evening shift. And we had half an hour of devotion before school starts. So you have to like praise the Lord for half an hour, which when I was younger, I was like, ugh, boring. But it did save me from being late many, 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 many times. Yes. New paint sapphire. Anyway, but yeah, half an hour devotion. I remember walking into the school ground and being absolutely terrified because it's a new school. No one knows me. I don't know what to expect. I didn't know where I was going. I had no idea. So I arrived when devotion was still happening. And I remember standing there before, like, you walk in the parking lot and the whole administration is on this side, on the first floor there. And then there's like this little gathering place where you have the classrooms, and you have classrooms up downstairs and upstairs. And you have this staircase going like up there, and then you have the cafeteria on the left. And I remember arriving and just looking around. Everyone was looking at me like, what are you doing here? Why this white gal reach over here so like she look like she lost, you know? Which I get it. Like, I probably think the same thing. Like, the fuck are you doing here? And I was just standing there, terrified, not knowing like where am I going? Who am I gonna ask for help? Where's my classroom? What am I doing here? Mind you, attending starting 7th grade, like my entire life just changed. I had all my friends in Norway, but even if I'd been there, it was super scary because I didn't know anyone. This girl, I remember it so clearly. A lot of other things might be a little complicated, but this I remember very well. This girl, she looks at me, and I've thanked her for this later. She looks at me, and I feel like she can just tell. She can tell that I'm absolutely lost. Like, I don't know where I'm going. I don't know what I'm doing here. And she looks at me and she said, "Do you know where you're going?" And I said, "No, I really don't." And she said, "Okay, like, what's your class?" And I tell her, and she's like, "Okay, well, that's a classroom next to mine. I will follow you so you'll find your way." And she took my hand, um, and she followed me. And I get emotional because that gesture really helped so much. It was such a moment of profound, like, okay, someone saw me, someone, is helping me, and it's not so scary. Like, it's gonna be fine. So she takes my hand. After devotion, she follows me to the classroom. I was in 7A3 and she was in 7A2. And I go into my classroom, and there was all these super old, worn down, popped down metal and wood chairs and desks. Like, they were, yeah, they were ready to be changed out, but they don't have no money for that. I look into this class and I'm looking looking around, trying to like figure out, okay, where do I sit? Does everyone have their seating? How does this work? Because I don't want to like step on no toes. And I walk into class, and my classmates are looking at me like, oh, what? What is this? And I'm just like, well, hey. And I remember saying hi to the teacher eventually, and it was just kind of like being thrown in there. Figure out, you're just gonna have to deal. And I mean, that happens for many people. People move all the time to different countries, places, states, whatever order. Like, it's nothing special in that way. But it was, however, a very like a culture shock for me, again, because the school in Norway and the school in Jamaica is so different. So now I was in high school, after coming from a school that's very much like, the best way to describe it, it's like, oh, do you need to talk to the nurse? Is everything okay? Here's your cheat sheet. Everything is just so soft. You're allowed to do everything. There's no consequences to nothing. The school has no formal way of disciplining or like anything. You don't get grades here. Da da da. Going to the complete opposite of total discipline, grades, like everything was switched up real quick. So it was scary. I don't remember the whole day, but I remember the feeling. And then I don't remember what the first class was, but I got through the first class, and then there was this recess, and some of the girls came over to me and were talking and asking questions and being curious. So, and I found a couple of friends, and I held on to them for dear life, because I was just like, help. Bless them. We became really good friends. Eventually, I connected with my bestie, and we're still friends to this day. She is the one that will behead me if I don't get my ass back home soon. But she became my other half. She is. I am so grateful for our connection, and the fact that I don't even know how many years later, from seventh grade. How old are you in seventh grade? You're what, 13, 14, 12, 13, 14, depending on when you're born. And we're 30 now, 31, and we still love each other. And I'm so grateful for her. We became closer than anyone there. I get super homesick when I think about it. You might think it's like super dramatic to be sitting here crying. I'm just talking about high school, but it was such a profound, life changing experience for me to move from one country to another and embrace a whole new culture, a new way of looking at life, new friends, family. Um, and it has shaped me in so many ways. Like, I would not be the same person had I not grown up there. And I'm very grateful to have gotten the best of both worlds. Truly, I feel so privileged and honored to have experienced so much in my 31 years of life. And I've connected with so many good people. And I think many times when you're younger and you get stuck in, these turbulent times, I think it's easy to want to wish you were somewhere else, or yeah, not appreciate the moment. And then you get older, and then you look back and you're like, oh, what a blessing. Like, what a blessing to have experienced such profound moments that changes you forever and helps you see the world in ways you wouldn't if you were stuck in one place, or are kept in your little town, or with the same people, or never explored. And I think that is one of the things I'm most grateful for when it comes to my mom. Her strength of not following the status quo and just embracing life changes and moving us from one place to another and taking a chance and trusting God to take care of us. And no matter how hard it got, she thugged it out. Like, she is a youngster. And I mean that respectfully. Mom, all respect. Anyway, a little sidetrack of emotional roller coaster. And for a couple of weeks, it was really rough to adjust, not gonna lie. I hadn't learned Patois yet, so I was still like on my English thing. Like, I knew a couple of words, but not enough to like fully fully know the lingo. Eventually, obviously, when I learned and got better with that, that also becomes much easier. It becomes easier to communicate and to know what's going on and to understand different things because you actually speak the language. And I know that there's a debate if Patois is a language, an accent, or whatever. I'm gonna let y'all debate that. I don't care. To me, it's a different language, and I know people are gonna be commenting on that. I don't care. To be a ton of self, allow me alone. To me, it's a different language. Um, but whatever. Now, the way it works is that in seventh grade, everyone is mixed. When you go to the eighth grade, you take a bunch of exams, and they will place you in the class of like how well you're doing. So like seventh grade, everyone is mixed. Eighth grade, you will go into the classes of like how well you did. And so like one, two, three, four, five. Five being one being the best. Um, when I took my exams, I ended up in 8A2. I don't think I've ever been as good in school as when I went there. Truly, I aced. Obviously, because of like my math skills, I think I never made it to A1. Because I failed math. I've always failed math. But it is what it is. I'm talented in other ways. But I remember I remember one time, this was still in seventh grade, and this is one of the other moments where I think, everyone learns something different. We had gotten homework, and it's like in Norway, you will get paper printed about your homework or whatever. So you will always have it. You can have it on your fridge or whatever. Like, they'll send email to your parents or whatever. Like, you will have everything written so that you remember how to do it. Nowadays, these kids got iPads at school. They just log it in. Blink, 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 blink. When I tell these children I'm older than Google, they look at me like, ah, I know. But we didn't. We had to write everything, and we didn't always have all the books, obviously. Not everyone could afford that, or it wasn't just available for everyone, and the school obviously could, like, no, you had to buy your own. In Norway, up until videregående, what's that? I think videregående is college. No, high school. That our high school? Never understood the system. Education is free, but in Jamaica, nothing is free. Nothing. So we had to write down whenever the teacher said this is your homework, you had to write it down. Now, um in this particular subject, in this particular day, I came to realize that when the teacher was requesting had we done our homework, I hadn't, and a lot of kids hadn't. Like, it was a bunch of us that didn't have our homework done. Some obviously were paying attention and had done it, but a lot of us, no, we were busy doing other things. So the teacher's solution to making sure that that doesn't happen again was to tell everyone to stand up, and she asked one of the boys for a belt. And I didn't know what that meant yet, and I was just like, surely, We're not about to get smacked for not doing homework. Excuse me. Remember, I came from Norway. Okay, you cannot smack children in Norway, especially, well, it still happens here and there, but in school, madness. Like, you could never. That type of discipline disappeared with the times. And if any teacher got caught doing that shit, ooh, child, that's just nope. That's against the law. I'm not gonna do that. But in Jamaica, so the teacher was like, everyone stand up. So we stood and they say, find the homework. And the ones who did or like had done their homework found it. And she went from row to row to row. Now I was sitting over here and she started over here. My fellow classmates around here were looking at me like, don't worry, you're not going to get smacked. You're fine. And I was looking at them like, but I haven't done my homework. Like, there is no difference. What do you mean? Like, I didn't understand. I understand now what they meant, obviously, and why they were thinking that. But for me, the way my mom raised me is that there is no difference between any of us. So, yes, I'm white. That doesn't matter. Ain't no. So I was like, what do you mean? I'm not going to be smart. I haven't done my homework. Da, da, da. And they were like, no, you're fine. You're fine. You're fine. And I was like, okay, I don't believe you, but sure. Okay. So I was standing there like, and from one, all right, good job, da da da, sit down, next row. You haven't done it, all right, out with your hands. So she made us put our hand out like this, and she took the belt, slack, 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 3 hits, 3 slaps on our wrist. Sit down. And she was making her way around the class, smacking almost everybody. Do 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 do. We hadn't do 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 done our homework. So she made her way to me and she looked at me and was like, Maria, where's your homework? And knowing damn well that I hadn't done it, I knew I hadn't done it. So I don't know where I was trying to go. I was looking at my book like, Miss, do you mean this? And she's like, no. Well, then I haven't done it. She's like, okay, give me your hand. And these kids were looking at me like, oh. And I was like, okay, and I gave her my hand. Slack, slack, slack. Sit down. These kids were looking at me in disbelief. And I was like, what? Because I know damn well I didn't do my homework. Of course I'm going to get smacked the fuck. The And I think it was a good experience for all of us. And honestly, if she was going to do it, thank God she smacked me too. Because I think it's very important to remind people to not make like a difference between me and them. Like, hello. And I wonder if she commented it. In my memory, she commented something about it, saying, of course, she's going to get smacked too. Just because she's white doesn't mean, da 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 da. And the kids were like, what? But no, the day kept going. But I'm super sensitive. So my skin, if you slap me, it's gonna show. So my skin like swelled up. I got super red. I was like, God damn it. So I went to the sink to like just put it under cold water to make it cool down a little bit. And I was like, man, I'm gonna tell mom. Like, what the fudge? Can we out here slapping children? What are you doing? And on my way to the sink, my friends were following me, da da da, because I was like, damn, you really are red up, it just swell up. And I ran into the principal, and he looked at me like, what happened? And I was like, oh, the teacher beat me. And he's like, why? And I explained why, and he was like, okay, carry on. I was just like, huh? Well, the day carried on. Ain't no difference between us. So blessed. I'm glad you slapped me too. Now, obviously, I personally don't believe that you need to use physical discipline to get children to hear. Some kids obviously are a little bit more unruly. But still, I don't really believe in smacking kids regardless. But if you're gonna do it, you gotta do it to everyone. Set an example and everybody must learn. So honestly, that was just like a little moment, because again, you would never ever see that happening in Norway. Like never. They would they could never stop you in Norway like that ever. I remember one time when I, after like many years of going back, and I attended high school here, the teacher like grabbed me, and I was like bet. Because I knew, like, first of all, I no, you can't do that here. So I'm telling you, and obviously she got in trouble. But I couldn't do that in Jamaica. And when I got home and I explained to mom what happened, she looked at me like, "What do you want me to do? Like, of course she should have stopped you too. They didn't do your homework. Like, what do you want me to do? Call and be that mom? Like, I'm not doing that. So like, just do your homework and yeah, you know." It is what it is. I was like, damn, all right, cool. Let's just say I did my homework. After that, I have to go learn. And if you're hard for learning, I have to go learn the hard way. It is what it is. So there was like also like a big difference between the schools, Norway and Jamaica, the physical discipline act. Now I teach at a school here in Norway now, and these kids get away with some crazy ish. And I'm just thinking like, y'all have no idea what other children have to deal with in other places. Y'all don't know. Y'all really don't know. I think the main thing about these experiences is that it's not just like, it's not just cited to one place or whatever. Like high school, teenage years, whatnot is a universal experience regardless of where you are and who you are and whatever. And it's really a place where you got to navigate and figure out who you are and find your clique and just survive. Regardless of what school and where you are, honestly, it's really just the craziest time, and you could not pay me to do high school years again in any way, shape, or form. Like I would never want to do it again. But it taught me a lot. It taught me a lot about myself, and I think coming from a place where Norway is very much like, if you're not supposed to think you are anything, you're not supposed to take up space, you're not supposed to be loud. It's something called janteloven, and you're not supposed to have almost any sort of confidence or be too loud about who you are, because God forbid you had some confidence and dared to shine your light. You're not supposed to do that. Jamaica really taught me how to take up space, how to embrace myself, how to stand up for myself. If you don't claim your space, if you don't like defend yourself, good luck. Um, that's just what it is, and I think there's so many good lessons in that. It's something that we all kind of have to figure out life living this way. I remember the first couple of classes where it was like, okay, so introduce yourself, blah blah blah. I was like, hi, my name is Maria, and that was before I changed my name. So my name was a very typical, or typical, I don't think it's typical. My name was more Norwegian than obviously anything else. So when you go to a complete English speaking country, and you're supposed to speak, let it be known, your very Scandinavic name, it becomes a little bit of like a thing. So every time, and this goes either what way. Obviously, if you move to a country where they don't speak your lingo, your names are harder to pronounce for the people because it's different like that. Regardless of which borders you cross, that is a universal experience as well. I am again just speaking from mine. So my name was Maria Teresa Lokicin, and the amount of times I had to uh, repeat Lokicin, Lockerston, Lockhart, who? Man, no wonder I changed my name. So that was a wild one. And I remember this specifically when I'm going to music class because I remember what happened later. The assignment was to sing 2 songs and play a little fluty flute. And I was just like, sing in front of the class? Like, are you mad? And it's like, no, that's the assignment and you'll be graded. Help? I don't want to do that. I don't. Ew. Had to do it. I chose Rihanna. Was it Unfaithful? And Mariah Carey Hero, I believe, which is insane. Who do you think you are? You're not that Mariah, okay? You're just Maria. Insanity to choose a Mariah Carey song. That's wild. But I did it, and it was horrible. It was awful, but I got an okay grade for that. No biggie. We also had this field trip to go and see gators. Was it gators or crocodiles? What's the difference of a gator and a crocodile? Crocodile, gator, alligator, crocodile. One of them. One of those. One of those. What are those? And I remember sitting there like on the field trip, and then the man was just like, "Keep your hands inside the boat, sir. You don't have to tell me that. No, you ain't got to tell me that. That's fine. Yeah, no, I want to be an artist. I need my hands. Okay. Yeah. But that was fun. It was like a different little field trip moment. And obviously you can do that when you live in the tropics. I mean, how often can you go and see a gator in Norway, like the fudge? I remember we had art class once. And we were misbehaving a little bit. We're not causing too much trouble, just a little bit of trouble. And we were like standing there dancing, da 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 da, da, and the teacher came and slap, slap, slap with a ruler, saying like, "Why are you out here dancing? And like, what are you doing?" And we were just so unruly like that. I remember standing. I need a man. Officer. Det där kan du bara drita i. Orkar inte. Orkar faktiskt inte. I remember standing in the doorway of that classroom and talking to my boyfriend at the time. That was fun. I almost got my ass beat because of that boy. Not by that boy, because of that boy. Because there was this other girl that liked him, but we were together. And one day, someone came running to me and said, "Maria, so and so is at the gate wanting to beat your ass because of him, da 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 da, and they like him, da 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 da." And I was just like, I'm not even troubling anyone. Like, I'm literally staying out of people's way. I don't want no trouble. This is my boyfriend, and you want to come and fight me for my man? You want to fight me for my man? Your man? And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little scared. Like, I was not a fighter at the time. I hadn't really been in no physical fights other than at home. So getting my ass whooped at school wasn't really on my agenda. I really didn't want to do that. But and I remember my boyfriend, he was like, "Oh, do you want me to follow you?" And I was like, "No, because I gotta face this shit alone anyway. Like, if she's gonna beat me, she's gonna beat me. Obviously, I will try to defend myself, but I'm not a fighter." And I remember walking with some of my friends. We're like walking out of the school area, and she was there standing at the gate looking at me like I was the devil. And I was just looking at her like, "The fuck, girl? Like, I thought we were friends. Now I hear you want to beat me? What the fuck is that?" So I just walked past. She didn't do anything. Thank you. Just wasn't about that. She was like some moments that some of the there I witnessed some fights in that school where I was just like, nah, there is no way I'm getting myself into that. So I was very focused on sending the fudge out of anyone's way because there is no way I'm about to be ass whooped publicly. Are you mad? Um, but yeah, no, like there was some girls throwing like the chairs and the desks around when shit got crazy. Like, I was scared. I stood out of their way. I was like, no, I'm not getting into that. No, 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 no. So yeah, I did my very best to not get into trouble, stay out of arguments. I mean, even to this day, if you have an argument with me, you technically have an argument with yourself because I don't care enough to have an argument with you. Don't care. It's not my problem. Fight yourself. Fight your own demons. Leave me out of it. But sometimes it's hard to like recall years of your life. So obviously, if there's something in particular you want me to talk about, if you have questions, comment them below and I will answer them. I can make videos about certain things if you want, but it's kind of hard to like, oh, and then this happened and then this happened in a timeline because I everything kind of just together eventually when you grow up. And also like it was my life. I don't know. I know it's been an interesting one because it's been a life. I know, but I don't always know what people exactly want to hear or whatever. So like I will just tell whatever randomly comes to mind as I'm speaking on this. If there's something particular y'all will want to know, ask me in the comments. I'll get to it. But if not, I don't even know where to start or where to stop with this. I'm just gonna tell random stories that comes into mind while I'm speaking about it. I also remember this other teacher. She was strict. I liked her, but she was strict. And our class was a little unruly. This was also in 7th grade. Not gonna lie. We were a little, you know. But I remember she came in and we were kind of like misbehaving or something. We weren't paying attention. Now the teacher looked at us and she said, "Okay, put all your books in your bags. Like all the books that you have here, put them in your bag." So obviously, we're doing what the teacher is saying, blah blah blah. And then she's like, "Get up," and we get up and we stand up, and she was just like, "Okay, now hold your bags over your head until I tell you to let go and sit back down." I looked at her like, "Really? On my days?" Okay. So we did that, and after a while, like we were getting tired. We were getting tired, man. Like, damn, imagine this is the bag heavy. Bag is heavy. And she was asking, like, do you feel the pain yet? And we were like, yes, miss. And she's like, good. Because that is the pain that I feel when I have to come in here and teach you and you're not paying attention and you're not listening, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing. This is the same pain that I'm feeling. So now we can all kind of feel the pain. I was just like, hey. I mean, again, we for a moment we were paying attention. We were sat. We were seated. We were behaving. So bless it worked. It's a little hardcore, but it worked. I remember when I visited high school. I think it was the last time I was in Jamaica. I was like, oh, I want to go and say hi to the teachers. Such like a little way. I don't know. I guess I just wanted to see, like, go through memory lane. And there's something about seeing a place once you've had a little bit of distance from it. Like when you go back to a certain place, you were a lot as a kid, and you realize, okay, this place isn't so big as you remembered, or it feels different, or all these memories come flashing back to you, and blah blah blah. So I wanted to visit, and I think she was still there, and it was nice. It was a little crazy. Again, the girls, I gotta say, when I came to the school that time, I was wearing tights, um, like regular schmegular tights, and this cool security was looking at me like, "I'm not letting you in wearing that." And I was like, "It's tights. Like, relax, my G's. Like, it's not appropriate to have that on in school." but one of my friends were there, and she went to the drama class and borrowed like a long skirt or something that I could put on so that I could enter the school's premises. And I was like, better? And he was like, yep, go on. And I went in, I said hello to my teachers, and I went walking about and da da da. Every time for lunch, we would get, or me, you could either get like whatever the lunch of the day was, if there was like fried chicken with like rice and peas and gravy, or like cheese bread was my favorite. This fluffy, yummy cheese bread. The cheese was so good. Ugh! And an orange juice. I always got the same thing all the time. It was good. I never ever tasted it again afterwards. Kind of want to make it, but I don't know how to make it that delicious. But anyway, no. So like, I think that my greatest lessons from school there is really like friendship and how long lasting friendships can be, given that I'm still friends with my bestie after all these years. So it was really like a testament to how close you can become and how your connection, regardless of time and space, will win in the end. Not that this is the end. Bezrat Hashem. We will live to see many more days. But that was a thing of unity and keeping together. Because without my friends, I would never have survived school there. Like I wouldn't. If I hadn't found my people, if I hadn't, had a support system, I don't know how I would cope um, being there and living and just figuring out life. And I think that is one of the most, gorgeous things about the human experience in general, that we all indeed are meant to have a tribe, a community, a collective that we can lean on and support each other. I think that is one of the things that I really, really appreciated while being there. I learned a lot about myself growing up there in general. Yeah, I was really good in school there. Like, well, what's the alternative? I don't want to be like that. It's stupid. But no, it was a wild experience, very different from the Norwegian school system again. But I'm so so grateful. I'm so so grateful. I wouldn't change anything. And a part of me is like, oh, damn, why didn't we stay so that I could finish high school there? Because we moved in the middle here. But then I wouldn't have met all the people that I know today here in Norway. So like, God makes no mistakes. But there's a part of me that kind of wonder how life would be if we never went back to Norway and I went to school here and then being back and forth so much. I don't know, and I will never know because that's not what happened. And I mean, I'm okay with it. I just like, that's a curiosity I have. Like, what would happen? I wonder if, you know. Um, I'm trying to think of like other scenarios at school that happened. I remember we weren't allowed to have any crazy hair dyes. We weren't allowed to like wear a lot of jewelry or whatever. We had to have either brown or black accessories, like for catching up your hair, or whatever, like brown or black socks and shoes. It wasn't like you were supposed to stand out too much. It was very like strict rules in regarding to what you could wear. Now, when I was living there, I pierced my ears, and because you have to walk with it, like you can take it out because obviously it's gonna like lock up, it's gonna grow. Um, gonna heal, and then you have to do it all over. So I had to wear, for the longest time, I had to wear my hairstyle, and this stupid hairstyle, to like not get caught wearing earrings because you're not supposed to. So I had to wear like a Princess Leela type of thing where my hair was always down here, um to like cover it up. And I remember I would catch it up once when I got downtown. Now I was still in my uniform, and if you're in your uniform, you're not supposed to be out here running around doing foolish stuff, or not representing, because you're representing your school in your uniform. And I remember I was like catching up my hair. I was like, oh yes, nice. And when I met one of my teachers, and it was like, Maria, what is that? And I was like, earrings, miss. And it's like, well, you're not supposed to wear that with your uniform. And I was like, sorry. Ooh. But yeah. Damn. It's crazy to like to reminisce, think about it, meditate, to like think about this time in my life. Um, God willing, I will be able to go home this year because again, I haven't been there for many years. Simply and honestly, because any money that I made from then until now, I spent it investing in my craft and in my skills, and I've had multiple different jobs, and so I'm hoping that I can kind of get enough finances and whatnot to actually go back home and see my family. My stepfather called me the other day and was checking on me, which he does sometimes, and I really deeply appreciate that. Like he and mommy is not married still, but we still talk because like I grew up with him. Like that is my stepfather. Now, obviously, I still have my father. Blah blah blah. Um, but he will always be my stepfather, regardless of their relationship. Like that is a man that I grew up with. So blessed. And I told him, listen, I'm gonna try to like come home, da da da. And he said, okay, let me know. Can't wait to see you. So I'm really hoping that, um, with God's help, I shall. So y'all pray for me. Let's try to make that happen together in the sense of spirituality. Do do do, pray for me. But yeah, I don't know. Again, it's kind of hard to know exactly what would be interesting for y'all to like hear or listen to or know about certain things because it's just been my life. Like my life is my life, and when I am used to my story, but I know that a lot of people maybe haven't had the same experiences as me, so it's interesting to like hear about it. But I need to know what y'all want to hear about. So please comment questions or things you want to know about that experience or something. I'm thinking I'm gonna do some videos in patois, some videos in proper English, uh, being American, because there's no way I'm gonna pretend to be a Brit. Um, but yeah, let me know. Let me know what y'all wanna. Let me know what y'all wanna know, or that you're curious about, and I will definitely make more videos about that topic and try to answer you as good as I can. And now I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm working on. Now, this jacket is for a special lady. Her name is Sammy, and I love her style. If there is one person that I could like exchange closets with, and I wouldn't even need to see everything that's in there because I just know her style is mwah, it is Sammy. I'll try to put a little photo of her somewhere if I can make that happen. I don't know. Anyway, and this is for her because I really want to gift her a piece, obviously, because I love her style, and I know, like, she is an influencer, I guess, or like, yeah, she's an influencer, and I want to get one of my jackets on her, and because I follow her on social media, obviously, and it's been I think it's been a tough year for her or a season, and I know that when we go through our worst moments, any little ray of sunshine, help, um distraction even, or a show of love basically can really light up someone's life. So as much as I obviously want her to style this jacket because I think this is going to look really cool with her style, I also just want to do something really sweet and nice for someone. I don't know her obviously personally, but I think when you share your light and you share your energy, people resonate with it when you find your people and you just want to do something nice for people, you know? And I think she will rock this jacket. So I made this specifically for her, and I'm excited to try to tag her and see if she'll see it. I mean, she got millions of followers, so I'm hoping that the algorithm will bring it to her, give so that I can gift it to her. But this was made with her energy. Whenever I make something specific for someone, I tune into their energy. So like painting for me, especially custom orders, are very spiritual, because when I would make like the jackets on the Legacy collection that is on MeyJey, those jackets are my energy. It's the things that I love. It's my soul. And this is also my soul. Anytime I make a piece, you get a piece of my soul when you buy something from me. This is not just this is my soul, and you're gonna have a part of it. So, but especially when I make it with someone in mind, I tune into their energy and I make it very specific to them. So, let me show you how this looks when I made it with her in mind. Also, thank you for watching. Again, comment any questions, topics, things you want me to talk about. I appreciate y'all. Follow, subscribe, all that jazz. If you want to see more, and stay tuned into that. And it's all love.